Namaste. I want to talk about the noble seat today. Have you ever struggled to get going with your meditation? Do you struggle in that transition between your ordinary day and your sit, your time spent in meditation? Those first few moments of a sit can make or break the entire endeavor, really. So I have two assists for you. First, it's effective to remember why we come to the seat at all, why we meditate. Meditation eases the living, breathing self and can create a temporary reprieve from the grittiness of our lives. The mind feels better, the body feels better when I meditate, and all my four bodies relax when I meditate, and pain goes away. I have chronic pain, and it seems to disappear for the time that I meditate. And contemplation just feels really good, right? So it's a worthy endeavor, and that's really important to remember as you come to sit, because you may be coming with the only time you have in the day, and you may be tired, it may be after work, it may be before you get going on a project, and you've got a lot to do, so a lot is on your mind. Remember that it's worthy. And I make it a non-negotiable. In fact, it's so important to me that I meditate every day. Second, we can formalize our sitting practice with something called taking the noble seat. And to formalize something is to give it shape, to give it a container, to give it support. And the noble seat supports a meditation practice. The noble seat is both a posture and an attitude, and it brings stability to our practice. So let's talk about attitude, the noble seat attitude. We are formalizing our approach to meditation when we take the noble seat, even our approach to our own personhood. We acknowledge that we're entering a different space, and it's a special space. It may become ordinary because we may meditate so much that this time spent in meditation starts to feel ordinary and familiar. But that's something actually to kind of watch out for. The noble seat itself is familiar and is an approach and is a way in. But what happens after that is completely magical and unknown. So when we take the noble seat, we're creating a kind of energetic boundary, a threshold that we are crossing, a door that we're opening, walking into, and then closing for that time while we're meditating. And you can imagine it like this. Moments ago, I was chopping vegetables for a soup, which may be a wonderful endeavor, right? I mean, cooking with love is a pretty high endeavor, but it's very different from sitting down and meditating. And so meditating is unordinary, and it's also unpredictable, whereas, say, chopping vegetables for soup is pretty ordinary and pretty predictable. As I take the noble seat, I acknowledge that I'm heading in to meet myself at a special place. And this act of meeting myself where I am is a special thing to do. For me, it's been life-saving, really. And I know that's true for many people. So when I was young, my family used to dress for church, and we had hats, and we had dresses, and we had little purses. And sometimes my mother would even iron before we went to church. And the noble seat is kind of like that. It's a preparation for doing something important and even noble, we might say, because I'm bringing my best self to this space, to this event that I'm calling meditation. We arrange a space for ourselves and sit in a relaxed way with an upright spine. We acknowledge the room itself as a practice space. And then we acknowledge the physical body itself as a practice space. And then we acknowledge the space of the heart as a practice space, a refuge. These are refuges. And then we acknowledge the breath, right? The very life force that keeps us going. We open ourselves up to the magic of time and space and somehow love in the field of awareness. We don't know what's going to happen. I never know what's going to happen when I sit and meditate. It's pretty exciting, or can be. What if you don't feel like a noble being? There are a lot of good reasons why we sometimes don't feel up to this image of ourselves as a noble being. We have trauma that we can work on, and that has diminished our sense of self over time. But we can work with that, and in fact, meditation is a place to work with that. We may feel guilt over things we've said or done and haven't atoned for. That's like a data point, not something to know, to work with, right? But in my belief system, each sentient being is a noble being. I have a 15-pound chihuahua named Bija, which means little seed, and he's 18 years old now. Bija is a noble being, and he knows it. This little dog has a pretty healthy sense of self, and he doesn't look in the mirror. He expresses his nobility with his posture, with his eager approach to living. He wags his tail, he still jumps up on me, he still loves to eat, he loves the whole endeavor of life. He's in the game, but he's also very serious. He is erect and attentive without being tense. It's just amazing. He has a sense of worthiness, and I think maybe that's what the noble seat might open us up to, is our own sense of worth, our value. All human beings can train themselves to see themselves as capable of, say, equanimity, loving kindness, compassion, and sympathetic joy. These are the noble attributes of a yogi. And this is the promise of a meditation practice, that it may be used as a tool to cultivate our most noble traits, our highest states of being. So even if you don't believe in your own integrity and your own self, your worth in the world, even if you feel very small and unworthy, the practice itself can serve to elevate your state. Why do we meditate? Again, it's important to keep this in mind. We meditate to ease our suffering and the suffering of all sentient beings on this planet. We meditate to refine and exercise our attention. To my mind, my most precious asset. My attention is the greatest gift I can give to you. My attention is the greatest gift I can give to myself, to my beloveds, to the world, to someone on the street. And we meditate to grow our consciousness. In this way, the whole world may be healed. So we're taking a very small bit of consciousness and making it really big in meditation. But it's a training, it's a process. So what about the posture of the noble seat? What does that look like? You can adopt a noble pose while you're still in your pajamas, but if you've been floundering with your meditation practice, I recommend that you wear loose, comfortable clothes that are not your pajamas, because this is not, you're not going to sleep. This is a special endeavor, and you sit either in a chair with your feet on the floor or on a cushion. You can meditate while standing also. You can also meditate while lying down, but again, if you're still listening to this report here about the noble seat, then you probably don't want to lie down and meditate because you'll fall right asleep. So sit either in a chair with your feet on the floor or on a cushion, sitting bones well supported. Relax the hips so that they can support you. This is important. This is why the asana practice is so good. You open up your hips so that you can meditate more easily. You relax the belly so that the breath has free reign. The breath can go as deep as it wants to go or be as shallow as it wants to be. You relax the shoulders to relieve neck tension. You relax the spine but sit tall. You draw back and drop the shoulder blades to access the chest in the center of the chest. Place the hands palms up or down in your lap and keep them still. The hands are like busy little children. The fingers want to move and do things and they want to fidget. Keep the hands apart and relaxed and still on your lap. And then finally, draw the chin back and lift the back of the skull without dropping the head forward of the plane of the spine. And then the body is now ready. Throughout the meditation, the body may adjust itself automatically. Allow that. It's good to allow the body to adjust to the circumstances as they arise. The body knows what to do, but avoid fidgeting. Observe the adjustments the body wants to make. It may be valuable information. The body knows how to hold the mind for meditation. Acknowledge the room itself as your refuge, your support. Acknowledge the body itself, the physical body, as your practicing refuge, as your support. And acknowledge the heart center as your refuge, as your support, as you meet yourself in this moment as you are. And you are ready with curiosity and well supported, and your posture says, I matter. When I take the noble seat, I know I am increasing my value within myself and also within the world. If any part of this talk has been helpful for you today, please subscribe to the Grace School of Yoga YouTube channel and also hit the thumbs up button, and that will tell me what you want more of. With love in my heart for this journey, we're all together, and with deep respect for the noble being inside you. Namaste.